I'll be demonstrating the tubular bind off, which is also known as the Kitchener bind off. It is a perfect match to the tubular cast on. This ends of the scarf, here is the cast on edge, which has the tubular cast on. You can see a nice round, neat edge. And here's the tubular bind off. Again, a nice round, neat edge, no ridge, just kind of flows over the top. So I will demonstrate on the knit 2 purl 2, but it works the same for a knit 1 purl 1. Here I have a tiny piece of knit 2 purl 2 that is ready to be bound off. So the first thing I need to do is grab a second set of needles. Double points are very handy, but if you don't have double points, just a similarly sized needle will work just fine. I'm going to separate the knits and the purls onto 2 different needles. So I'm going to put the knits on one needle, and you can see I'm kind of holding them together, and then I will put the purls on a second needle. So the knit stitches are in the front, the purl stitches are in the back, or on the back needle. So 2 knits, and then 2 purls. Now if my ribbing was just knit 2 purl 2, I would be done separating them, and I have the even amount of knits and purls on each needle. And the same thing for a knit 1 purl 1 rib, just separate the 2. Knits on the front, purls on the back. But in this rib, my ribbing ends with 2 knits. So I'm going to separate them, treating the second one as if it were a purl stitch. So I'll slip that first knit stitch onto the front needle, and then that back knit stitch, I'll treat it as a purl stitch and put it on my back needle. So now they're separated. Now if I did not have double points, I would just go ahead and grab my needles that I just finished, and I'd slide these stitches back onto the original needles. But if you have double points like me, I simply am going to slide the stitches to the opposite end of the needle, and I'm ready to do the Kitchener stitch. So to begin the Kitchener stitch, I'm going to cut my working yarn so that it is 4 times the width of the finished edge. And I'll thread it onto a blunt tip tapestry needle. And then I'll begin Kitchenering. To Kitchener, we have a setup. We will go into the first stitch on the front needle as if to purl, and the first stitch on the back needle as if to knit, and kind of snug them up a little bit. And then I begin the Kitchener. If you're new to the Kitchener stitch, you may want to watch my Kitchener stitch video. So to continue Kitchenering, I will go into the first stitch as if to knit and drop it off, giving it a little gentle tug. Second stitch as if to purl and leave it on. Back needle, first stitch as if to purl and take it off, a little tug. Second stitch as if to knit and leave it on. I'm going to continue my way across. The front needle as if to knit and drop that off. Second stitch as if to purl and leave it on. Back needle, first stitch as if to purl and take off. Second stitch as if to knit and leave on. And you're going to continue this way, Kitchenering, until you have 1 stitch left on each needle. Continuing my way across. This is done exactly the same way, whether you have a knit 1 purl 1 rib or a knit 2 purl 2 rib, just Kitchener across. This is a great bind off for double knitting, since you have rows of a row that is just a knit 1 purl 1. So I'm going to go in last set, as if to knit and take off, purl and leave on. First stitch on the back, purl and take off. Enter as if to knit and leave on. So here I am to the last 2 stitches. I'll go into this last stitch on the front needle as if to knit and take off. So I'm finished with that needle. Go into the last stitch. It's on the back needle as if to purl. And then I'll just take that off as well and give it a little tug here. And there you have the tubular bind off. You can see that my stitches just roll over the no line or edge there. Nice invisible bind off. Happy knitting!